first, I just have to say that I need help. At the minute, I'm actually in the middle of around 42 series, so I've known a lot of 5-year-olds in my time, and I don't think any of them would have been able to give me relationship advice, so it is a little bit insta-love. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maria, and today's video is going to be a reading vlog. And first things first, I just have to say that I need help. Basically, I'm in a really bad book slump at the moment. I've been in a book slump for about a week or so now. It was basically after I read Town and Quicksilver. For some reason since then, I just haven't been able to get myself fully immersed in a book or to really enjoy a book the way I want to. And it might just be the books, but I do think it's a me problem rather than a book problem. So trying to think of a way to kind of combat that slump and to make sure that I'm just not burning my way through books that I will potentially want to read in the future, but will maybe give myself a bit of a bad impression of because I'm feeling so slumpy. So an idea that I had was to try and continue series that I've been reading. So at the minute, I'm actually in the middle of around 42 series. So if you watch my recent Do Bookish Things with me, you'll see that I started to use a series tracker that was created by Maisie May. So I'll link her channel in the description below. But basically, she built this series tracker so that you can kind of track the series that you're in, how many books you've read out of a series, how many you have left, and basically just see your progress as you're going through all of those series. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use that tracker, and then what I'm going to do is use a random number generator to pick which of the series I'm going to be continuing. So the way that it is on the spreadsheet, I will start to record my screen so that you can see, but basically with the formatting on the spreadsheet, you'll see that it goes from number 18 to 59. So I'm going to put the numbers into a random number generator and see which book we end up getting. So I'll just put in 18 and 59, and then whichever number we get, we'll read from that correlating series. 57, okay, so that's quite near the end. Okay, so 57 is one that I'm actually up to date in, so I obviously can't read the next book in that series, so let's just regenerate. 39, so let's just have a look. That's another one that I'm up to date. I need to be able to take these out, so let me just generate again. Okay, so I got number 27, which is basically the Rose Hill, I think it's Billionaires or something like that series by Elsie Silver. So recently just read Wild Love, really enjoyed that, really fun read. So I think the next one is Wild Eyes. Let me just double check. Yeah, so the next one is Wild Eyes, and I'm quite excited to read this one because it's following the brother of the main female character in the first book, so Weston. And then I think the female character is supposed to be like a country singer or something like that, so that might be a fun element that comes into this. So yeah, really excited to read this, and because I'm in a slump, I actually think a nice fluffy romance or something like that is going to be a great one for me to pick up because it's not going to be anything too heavy, it's not going to be huge world building or anything like that, so I'm actually quite happy that we ended up with that one. So yeah, the first book we're going to be reading in this video is Wild Eyes, and then once I've read that, I'll probably come back and generate what the next book will be, and we'll see how many of the series I can continue in this video. So I don't have this one as a physical copy, I do only have it on my Kindle, but I'm pretty sure these are on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll just go download that and yeah, start reading. about 12% in, so I'm on chapter 5, but I just wanted to give you a bit of an update on kind of initial thoughts, initial feelings, and give you a bit more of a synopsis on what this one's about. So in this one we're following Weston, or West, who is the brother to the female main character in Wild Love. He owns kind of a horse training ranch type of thing, so not quite cowboy. I would say this one is veering more towards kind of small town / cowboy vibes, but there is that element within the story. So basically Skylar, who is the female main character here, is this kind of famous country star. She's been famous since she was a child, has basically never lived a normal life, and she's kind of at a point in her life where she just wants to feel something real. She feels like she needs to escape kind of the celebrity lifestyle, and I think there's an incident that's happened that she's kind of running away from and she's embarrassed by, but guessing we're going to get kind of a bit more of a revelation on that as the story goes on. But we have had the meet cute kind of between her and West, and it was a little bit outlandish, but it was also quite funny as well to kind of read and to see their initial interaction with each other. She's very much a fish out of water kind of in this setup because, as I say, she's been kind of primped and pampered her entire life, so coming up to this kind of small town, it does kind of feel quite country for her. Even though she's a country singer, she's very much a city girl, so as I say, definitely a fish out of water, so it'll be interesting to see how she kind of copes, and guessing that's going to be all part of her kind of character development as the story goes on. They do definitely seem like they are opposites at the moment. They're not quite grumpy sunshine or anything like that, but they do seem like polar opposites in terms of the lives that they've had and maybe their core values at the moment as well. And I forgot to say as well, I think I said that this was like a billionaire series. The Rose Hill series is actually not. I was getting that mixed up with another one. This is all single dads, so all of the main male characters in this series are going to be single dad trope. So if you like that trope, definitely check this one out, because I think in the first one, White Love, it was done really well, so excited to see how it's done in this one. The one thing that I usually don't like about children in books is that the authors tend to write them as if they're about 15 when they're supposed to be 5. They're giving their parents advice on love and relationships, and I've known a lot of 5-year-olds in my time, and I don't think any of them would have been able to give me relationship advice, so definitely hoping that that kind of theme does fall into this book, because I think in the first book the child was slightly older because she was in her teens, but I do think she was written really well and written really age appropriately, so hoping that the kids in this one will just add to that charm, because I do like the way that she wrote the child character in the first book. But yeah, so far, as I say, not too much has happened. Skylar has basically arrived in town. She's going to be recording with Ford Grant, who is the main male character from the first book. She wants to record something different, something just for herself, completely different than what she's done before, so that's how she's kind of ended up in this town. And we just got to the part where basically she is going to be staying with West in the bunkhouse on his kind of ranch while she's waiting for her recording sessions with Ford, and I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of forced proximity. There's going to be kind of a lot of tension building up between the two, and I think this is definitely what I need in terms of being in a slump and not wanting to read anything too heavy. This is going to be a really easy one for me to kind of just listen along to, and I do think that Elsie Silver's writing is just really entertaining. So far I've really loved all of her books. Chestnut Springs I would say is still my favourite so far. Wild Love, I read it, and I don't know if it's because it was the childhood friend trope, which isn't usually a favourite of mine, but it was more 4-star, so it was still very enjoyable, still a great read, but not that 5-star tier that some of the Chestnut Springs were. But interested to see how this one compares. I did end up starting listening to it on audiobook as well, so I have Spotify Premium and this audiobook is included in that, so actually really enjoying the audiobook, enjoying the narrators as well. Definitely think it'll make me keep more focused on this, because when I'm in a slump sometimes my mind just does wander and it really doesn't help when I'm trying to read, so immersive reading is definitely the way to go when I'm trying to keep concentrated on what I'm reading. But yeah, as I say, I'm only 12% in, chapter 5, so still a long way to go, but so far so good. I am really enjoying this one. So yeah, just about to make dinner now, and I'll listen to the audiobook while I'm doing that, read a little bit more into this one, and I'll give you an update once I've read a bit more. So I'm now at the 50% mark of Wild Eyes, and I am enjoying it. It is a little bit insta-love. It's a little bit insta-love in here. I think they were about 2 days into knowing each other, and there was already feelings. There was already kind of these things being talked about in the relationship that for me, I just prefer it to be drawn out a little bit more. However, I do think it is entertaining. I usually do like Elsie Silver's characters and kind of the friends and the found family and that kind of aspect of it, so I am still enjoying that. I'm enjoying the story, but in terms of this couple, it feels a little forced. I don't know, it kind of feels a little forced, and I do think there are some elements of her obviously being a celebrity and West having been a fan of her before, and I don't know, it just feels a little bit strange for me. Again, I'm in a slump, so all of my thoughts and feelings within this video take with a little pinch of salt because I may be being a little bit more picky when it comes to the books, but I do think for this one it just feels like a forced chemistry. It feels like other than the physical there doesn't seem to be much relationship building. The way that they're kind of insinuating that they know each other, you know, kind of from the first day she was kind of saying, oh, I know what a good man he is, and I know, you know, things like that. It's just kind of, how do you know? You know, you've known this man for one day, he does one nice thing and you think he's just a great man. And I do think just with the character and kind of her history and her trauma that may be ruled into that, but it just means when it comes to the relationship, for me personally, I just like it to be a bit more drawn out, a bit more maybe tension filled. There's probably going to be a third act kind of miscommunication issue or something like that. There always is in these books, but be interested to see how that folds out. Be interested to see where she takes it from here, because obviously we're only 50% in and there's a few things that are kind of stopping them from being together as such, but none of them are really that high stakes, so be interested to see where she takes this one. I am still liking the characters. I think it's really entertaining. I mean, I've read 50% in a very small amount of time. It's one thing about these books is they are very bingeable, so even if the couple in it isn't my favourite, I do still enjoy it for all of kind of the banter and the side characters and things like that. So overall, definitely enjoying it at this point, really enjoying the writing. I know I would because I do like Elsie Silver and I do like her books. I would say that this kind of Rose Hill series definitely isn't hitting the way that the Chestnut Springs series did for me, but overall I am still really enjoying them and I would definitely recommend them for anyone who does like romance. I do think that she does them really well and I really like her characters. So today is Sunday, hopefully should be a bit of a chill day. It's a really rainy day today, so likely just going to be staying in for the most of it, but I do have to pop to the hairdressers because I got my hair done the other day but it's just not quite right, so I am going to go and get that fixed. They very kindly offered to fix it for me, so other than that, no real plans, just probably gonna go to the hairdressers, maybe go for a coffee and some lunch after that, and then probably just spend the rest of the day reading. So hopefully I may be able to get this finished by the end of today, and kind of half reading, half listening to the audio, but it's a pretty quick read. So on the audio it's showing I have around 2.5 hours left, so pretty sure I should be able to get this finished today. So I'll probably just pop back in once I've finished it, unless there's anything I want to update you on in between. I may just wait until I finish this one to pop in, kind of give you my final thoughts and feelings, and then we'll pick the next book that I'll be reading for this week's vlog. So it's Monday today and I do have a bit of a reading update. So yesterday it wasn't as chill as I would have liked it to be, but I went and got my hair fixed, feeling much better about it, had a coffee, and then later in the day I did have a good bit of time for reading. So I have now finished Wild Eyes, so I think overall I did enjoy this one. Look, it was a good book to kind of pass the time. I don't think this is the best Elsie Silver book that I've read, definitely not, and I think it kind of ties back to what I was saying initially, just that there was quite a bit of insta-love I think for me, and I just didn't feel that build-up of the relationship. You know, they were already talking about having feelings 2 days in, and for me that's just too fast. It's just not the type of love story that I like to read about. Now, I did like the characters, I liked their surroundings, I liked all the side characters, quite liked their story in the end. There was kind of a third act miscommunication slash blocker on their relationship that, again, I didn't quite buy, and I just felt like the stakes were never really there for them in terms of them maybe not being able to be together, and all in all it just meant that it was a kind of a fun read, enjoyed reading it. Definitely not one of my top Elsie Silver. I would say it probably lands between a 3.75 and a 4 because it definitely was enjoyable. There was nothing wrong with it. It's just not the type of romance that I like to read about in terms of how the relationship was built and in terms of how they end up getting together. But as I say, I did like the characters, I liked the banter between them, I liked some of the little ways that Elsie Silver had them kind of communicating with each other. I won't spoil it because I thought it was quite a cute addition to how their relationship does build, even though, as I say, there was quite a lot of insta-love in this one. There was also still a lot of cute banter between them as their relationship kind of developed and grew. So I did enjoy that. I did enjoy kind of following them along with that, and yeah, I think Elsie Silver's writing is one that I just really enjoy. So even if it isn't kind of her best work for me, it's still always probably going to be an enjoyable read and something that I would recommend to anyone who does like romance. And again, just because this wasn't kind of the best one for me, it may just be a case of that trope and kind of that a bit more insta-love. Doesn't mean it wouldn't be a favourite for you, so definitely still recommend this. I really like her writing, I really like her characters, so if you like romance and if you like other books that you've read by Elsie Silver, I would still highly recommend this one. But yeah, for me personally it probably sits at around 3.75 to quite a low 4. So that does mean we need to pick our next book, and I did do this last night because I thought I might have finished Wild Eyes before I went to bed, so I wanted to be ready with what I was going to read, but that ended up keeping me occupied until I went to bed. So I did do the number generator last night, but I did record my screen when I'd done it. So the first number that it brought up was 46, and that actually brought me to When the Moon Hatched. Now obviously the new book isn't out there, so I couldn't pick that one up. So generated it again, and the number that came up was for Emily Wilde. So thankfully I do have the latest book in that series. It's still in the box, I haven't unboxed it yet, but I do have the third book in that series, and I think I may get the audiobook for this one as well, or at least listen to some of it on Spotify, because I really like the audiobook for the previous two, like the voice actors, so I think I will listen to the audiobook for that one as well. And if I read that one, it actually means I'm completing a series, so it would be really good for my kind of project of trying to continue series that I'm in the middle of if I can tick one of those off as complete. So I've really loved this series. It's definitely one that I've been looking forward to, and a release that I was anticipating. It was one of my highly anticipated releases for 2025, and if you haven't read this series yet, it is basically kind of a cozy fantasy. In the first book we meet Emily Wilde, who is basically a scholar within this university, and she is researching all different types of fairies and trying to put together an encyclopedia with definitions of all those different types of beings as part of her study. So in that book she travels off to kind of a Nordic land to do a bit of research, and when she gets there she doesn't get the warmest reception because she's not really a people person. She finds it quite awkward to kind of communicate with other people, and it means it's hard for her to kind of integrate within that society when she gets there. Now when she is there, her arch nemesis within the university, Wendell Bumblebee, ends up turning up, and she thinks he's trying to kind of take over her research mission and take the credit for her research and kind of write his own paper. So you kind of see them butting heads about certain things and kind of see their kind of relationship grow as well, and it's just been a really fun read, really cozy read. The stakes aren't really that high, but interested to see where we go with this third one, considering how the second one ended. There was quite a shift in terms of where the characters may be. So interested to see where Heather Fawcett has taken this one, but yeah, really excited to pick this one up. So I'll have to just go and get my parcel so that I can unbox the physical version, but I will probably listen to it via audio as well, because as I say, just that immersive reading with the voice actors that were in the previous two audiobooks really helped make the experience for me. So yeah, really excited to pick this one up. So I just went and got the box because I'll unbox it with you. I was kind of keeping this for my book haul to unbox it, but since it was picked as part of this video, I'll unbox it here with you. There is another book in here that I've ordered, so I'll show you that as well. So let's just get into this and get the books out. What a fail. Oh no, one of the books is damaged. This is why I should always unbox as soon as I get the delivery, but I think it should be okay. But it's not the book that we're going to be reading, but I'll show you that in a moment. Obviously the main part of this package is the Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. So this is the cover, getting a bit of glare just because it's quite sunny today and there's a bit of foiling on there, but this is the cover. The covers are really, really pretty. Let me bring it a bit closer and hopefully you'll get to see the detail. And this is just a standard UK cover. The covers are really, really pretty. I love the colour that they've took for the hardback of this one. It's kind of like a olive green. It's looking probably a bit more yellow on camera, but it's a bit of an olive green, so it's really, really pretty. But as I say, this is just a standard edition, so there's no kind of sprayed edges or anything. But yeah, really excited to pick this up. As I say, it will be finishing a series for me, so actually kind of glad this came up on the number generator, because as I say, I need all the help I can get getting that amount of series down, so this is going to be perfect. And just to show you the other book that I got in that package, and it is a little bit damaged. I think just the box kind of caught the pages there, but I think I'll just be able to set that under a couple of books and hopefully that should iron that out. But it's basically the second book in the Beartown series, so Us Against You. So as soon as I read Beartown, I knew I wanted to continue this series, so really excited to pick this one up and see where the story continues. But obviously that may be in another vlog if I decide to vlog that read, and obviously this is a book that I need to continue a series I'm in the middle of, so you never know, if I do generate another one for this video, depending on how long it is with reading Emily Wilde, this could end up in this video depending on what the number generator brings up. So yeah, that's 2 books I got in that package. I am working today, so probably won't start to read Emily Wilde until later today, but usually these are pretty quick reads for me, so hoping it won't take me too long to read this one. But yeah, as I say, just really excited to pick this up and see where the story goes. Just jumping on to give you a quick reading update for this one. So I'm on page 136, and this doesn't have chapter numbers, so it just kind of has chapter names, but I'm at around 40% of this one and I'm absolutely loving it. I really, really love being back in this world. With this one, you definitely get more of a kind of traditional depiction of the Fae. This isn't just kind of beautiful fairies walking around. There's definitely more of that if you've read Holly Black or anything like that, the Fae are very much more akin to that within this book. So if you like that kind of storytelling, if you like the more traditional depiction, you'll definitely enjoy this because it is definitely a lot more true to that kind of old folktale rendition of the Fae folk and kind of all the different types and variations that you can get within that. But just really loving being back in this. I think it's a real comfort series for me. I definitely think this is a series that I will just read when I want to feel cozy, when I want to have a bit of a feel-good book. I think there are definitely some really dark elements within this, you know. Overall it definitely feels very whimsical. There's a lot of really funny moments and really cozy, I suppose, moments within this as well, but there is definitely that dark undercurrent, and I think that just kind of represents proper Fae kind of traditional depiction of the fair folk in terms of, yes, they are a little bit whimsical, but there's definitely that dark and mischievous side to them. So really enjoying just exploring a bit more of that. We do get a lot more of that within this book than we have in the previous books, and a lot more first-hand kind of experience with that in here, and just really loving that. Really still continuing to enjoy Emily's character. From her description you would kind of think that she's a character that you may not like, you know, she's not really good with people, she's quite standoffish, she's quite stuck in her ways and stuck in her studies, but she is a really lovable character, and I actually resonate quite a lot with her, which I don't know what that says about me, but I do resonate quite a lot with her and just her interactions with Wendell and everyone else around her. There's been many moments within this that I've just been smiling because of the way that they're interacting and kind of their conversations and just their personalities. So really, really loving this. Definitely pulling me out of my slump, which is great. So I definitely think once I finish with this, I'm really, really hoping that the next book is going to be a breeze, because definitely not feeling slumpy while reading this. Definitely wanting to pick it up any chance that I get. So here's hoping this is going to do the trick for me. But yeah, I'm not sure how much I'll be able to update you on this. Obviously it's the third book in the series, so I don't want to come in with too many updates in terms of what's happening or to give you too much on how I'm feeling about certain storylines. I'll see where the story goes, see if there is anything that I can update you on before I finish, but if not, I may just come in with kind of a final thoughts update and maybe give you kind of an overall series update, because this is the last in the series, so I'll be able to give you a bit of a recommendation on the series because I'll have finished it. But one other thing I noticed was that because I read Wild Eyes, I am actually up to date in the Rose Hill series. I thought the third book was already out, but it's not out till next week, so for at least a week I'm up to date in that series, so I'm happy about that. So I have updated that on my spreadsheet. So within this video we're technically kind of completing what we can of 2 series, which is amazing. If I can continue to do that, I'll be in good stead to try and get that series list down and try and get that number down as much as possible. I may even read the next Rose Hill book as soon as it comes out next week, just to kind of keep that as an up-to-date series for me. Feeling quite motivated, I must say, after being able to tick some of these off. So for tonight I'll probably read some more of this. I've read this quite quickly. I didn't really have too much time to read yesterday, but I managed to get, as I say, 40% through. Mostly reading this physically. I do have the audiobook through Spotify, but I only really used it when I was making dinner or if I wasn't able to physically read last night, and it was only for 1 or 2 chapters to be fair. So mostly this has been a physical read for me, but it's just the type of read that you can really fly through. I don't really want it to end because I'm really loving it, but thinking I may get a good bit of this read tonight and potentially finish this tomorrow. So depending on how far I get, and as I say, unless there's any updates in between that I really want to jump on and tell you, I may just jump on once I finish this one and give you kind of a view on this book, but also on the series overall. Not sure if I'll include any other reads within this vlog. The clips are already seeming quite lengthy, so depending on how quickly I can finish this and when I'm wanting to get this vlog up, it may just be these 2 books, but if I can fit another book in, I'll definitely let you know. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on trying to finish this one and then see where we get to. So I have now finished Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, and yeah, I love this. I really thought this was a great conclusion to the series and kind of tied all the strings together, but I do think it's open for, if she did want to write another book within this world, she could probably reopen that and kind of just maybe follow some of the side characters or some of the characters that were introduced in this one. Honestly, I would just read any book within this world. They're just so cozy, they're really comforting. I really love the characters, the banter between the characters. They're really, really funny, really charming, and kind of the male main character in this one as well is just really charming. Obviously as he is a fae, that is kind of his trait, but yeah, really love this one. I do think this felt more like a fairy tale than the other two books that we got from this world, and that's because of some of the components within this one. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but obviously Emily is researching some of the lost tales of the fae folk in this one, and a lot of that was kind of interwoven to the narrative as well, and I just thought it was really masterfully done. Really enjoyed how she done that. And again, the stakes are never too high in these books. The characters do kind of go through it in certain parts, but you still always have kind of that reassurance that you know everything's going to turn out okay. You know, you're not really thinking that anyone's going to have a bad ending or anything like that because of kind of the cozy nature of these. But yeah, I thought this was a great conclusion to the series, and again, I would probably read 5 more books within this world. They're just so comforting and really easy to read. But as I did say, I kind of give you an overall view of the series, but I kind of said probably everything that needs to be said. But really, if you just like anything that's really cozy, you like a kind of more traditional depiction of the fae, you want to read about an MMC who's a bit older, so she's meant to be I think 30 in the first book or something like that, between 30 and 32. I know she's 32 in the last one, but I can't remember how much time has passed since the first book. But slightly older MMC, slightly different depiction of the fae, but as I say, it's definitely more traditional to the real folk tales of fairies. Gives you a very cozy feel good read, and pretty quick reads as well. Definitely check out this series. For me, it's probably not a 5-star series, but it's very close. It's probably like a 4.5-star series. It's not one I would recommend to everyone because there are some slow and meandering bits in this, so if you're not really a fan of cozy fantasy, you'll not like these because they are filled with scenes that are a little bit mundane. But for me, I just really enjoy them because I enjoy the characters and I enjoy the coziness of it. These are also written in kind of diary entry style, so it's Emily kind of recounting what happened in her day, and there are footnotes in this as well. So again, just a few things that maybe mean this wouldn't appeal to kind of the vast majority of people. But if you do like cozy fantasy, I definitely recommend these because I don't think you can really get better than this series. So that's it. That's everything for this vlog. I am going to stop it here just because I do want to get this vlog up today, and obviously I won't have time to read anything else, and I just think that it has turned out to be a bit of a longer vlog anyway, so this is probably a good time to stop this one. Main thing is, I do think I'm out of my slump. I definitely really enjoyed that last read, and I picked up another book which I am enjoying as well, so I'm still continuing more series. I'm going to try and do that before the end of this month. Just anything that I read before I start my new TBR will be continuing a new series, so really think that's helped me get out of my slump, just diving back into worlds that I know I love, and ones that didn't take too much brain power for me to kind of get into the world and get immersed in it, because that was the problem I was having. I was trying to start a few new fantasy books and I just couldn't get myself immersed in the world. So I think this video has been a success. Firstly, we completed or at least got up to date in 2 series, and I feel like I'm definitely out of my slump, so yeah, win-win overall. If you like this video, do remember to give it a like, and if you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe. I post 2 videos per week, and it's videos like this, so reading vlogs, TBR videos, come shopping with me, book hauls, all good bookish things like that. Other than that, thanks so much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye!